What if a new mother suddenly stopped seeing the world as it really is? What if fear, paranoia, and hallucinations took over her mind while everyone around her thought that she was just simply exhausted after childbirth? That is the difficult conversation emerging from the trial of Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 young children. Her defense says that she was suffering from severe postpartum psychosis, and the case is now raising a much bigger question. Are we failing to recognize a potentially devastating but treatable mental health emergency in new mothers? Lindsay Clancy is on trial over the killing of her 3 children in 2023. Prosecutors argue that she deliberately planned the killings. Her defense, however, says that she was experiencing severe postpartum mental illness and was not properly diagnosed or treated. Clancy's case has put a rarely discussed condition under the spotlight: postpartum psychosis. Mental health advocates say that the tragedy should not only be about a courtroom battle. They say that it should force a closer look at how new mothers are screened, diagnosed, and treated. After the birth of her 3rd child in May 2022, Lindsay was initially happy. But by the autumn, her family says that her behavior began to change. She struggled with insomnia, she became anxious about returning to work, and she told her mother that she was scared to be alone. At one point, her mother stayed with her for nearly a week. Her sister later told the court that Lindsay seemed completely different. More suicidal thoughts, more insomnia, less of the woman they knew. By December, the situation had become much worse. Lindsay reportedly told her husband and mother that she was having thoughts of harming her own children. She was also experiencing suicidal thoughts. She sought psychiatric care and spent several days in a locked psychiatric facility. But even after her treatment, her family says that something was still terribly wrong. But prosecutors are challenging that picture. They acknowledge that Lindsay had serious mental health problems, but they argue that she was not in the throes of psychosis when she killed her children. Prosecutors say that Lindsay was looking for a quick and an easy fix and moved between doctors and medications when treatments did not work as she expected. Her medical providers testified that she repeatedly reported anxiety, insomnia, and intrusive thoughts. But the prosecution argues that these symptoms did not amount to psychosis. Her former husband testified that Lindsay was constantly worried something terrible would happen to the children. She reportedly feared that they would become sick or be harmed. She also contacted a crisis support center twice in December. Doctors diagnosed her with postpartum anxiety, but the defense is now arguing that something much more serious may have been happening beneath the surface. And then came the day of the killings. And this is where the case becomes even more difficult to understand. The day before the killings, Lindsay spoke to her psychiatrist. She reportedly denied suicidal or homicidal thoughts. The psychiatrist said that she saw no signs of psychosis. Hours before killing, Lindsay built a snowman with her children. Her former husband testified that she was having one of her best days, and then changed everything. About a week after the killings, Lindsay reportedly told her then husband that she had heard a man's voice. A voice, she said, told her that if she did not do it, then she would lose her chance. Her husband testified that she had never mentioned hearing such a voice before. That testimony is now central to the defense argument about her mental state.
I don't know if I connected it with the doubling of her Zoloft, but over that period of time, she just kept getting worse and worse.
And what period of time was that? What month are we in?
Mid-October to the end of December.
Okay, so she got the prescription in September, started taking it in October, took 7 pills, but was having difficulty in December. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
From this medication?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Como, please.
Your Honor. Did she also tell you at that time, at the beginning of December, that she was having some other intrusive thoughts?
Yeah.
Is that how she described them or how you described them, intrusive thoughts?
I would say both.
Okay. And when she told you that she was having intrusive thoughts, did you ask her what they were?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
She described thoughts of hurting the kids or them having some sort of ailment, So like she was very worried that Cora had, whenever she had a stomach ache, she became overly worried that she was, like had like a liver problem or something much more dramatic than it was.
And to discuss more on this, I'm being joined by Dr. Pankaj Kumar, founder and chairman of the Healer Psychiatry Center. Dr. Pankaj, for the viewers to understand, what exactly is postpartum psychosis, depression, anxiety, if there is a difference between the two, and how concerning this condition can be in new mothers?
Yeah. Postpartum is like a term after delivery. It's called postpartum, afterpartum.
Right.
The postpartum period generally lasts for 6 to 8 weeks. Postpartum depression, there is three terms generally which are commonly known: postpartum blues, postpartum depression, and postpartum psychosis.
Right.
Postpartum blues is general anxiety and stress after a childbirth, which most of the mothers generally go through, and they feel and they express very commonly. Then comes postpartum depression. That's around, according to Indian data, 19 to 22% of the females experience postpartum depression. That's a severe form of blues in which the female have the symptoms of depression, anxiety, low mood, low energy, disenhancement, disconnect with the child and the surrounding. It can start within the next hour of the delivery. So generally it starts on 42 to 72 hours, and it can very well start within 8 weeks. In most of the cases, it starts within a week, but rarely it can start late also. Then comes postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis is generally less common. It's generally seen around two females per 1,000 delivery. That's the data of India, what we have. So it again can start within 48 hours, 72 hours after the delivery. And lately it can mostly peaks after 1 to 2 weeks of the delivery. And it can rarely start after a few weeks also, even few months also, in some rare cases. What is difference between depression and psychosis? In psychosis, the patient, the person, the mother, probably after delivery, will have restlessness, low sleep, mood swings, irritability. The main feature will be lost with the reality. That's how we define psychosis. When a person loses the touch with the reality, then one says he or she is having psychosis. When the mother loses the touch with the reality, example, she may have delusions, she may have hallucinations, she may have auditory hallucinations, she may have visual hallucinations, she may have persecuted delusions, and all those thoughts which convey to it can point towards the mother is going towards a phase which is called postpartum psychosis.
But as the defense of Ms. Clancy is arguing, do you think that postpartum can be so severe and the hallucinations and the anxiety can be so severe that can push a mother to harm or kill her own children?
I really can't comment on that specific case because I haven't seen the patient. Till I see the patient personally, I really can't comment on the facts. But coming to what the science and what the facts tells us, yes, psychosis can be really severe. There can be delusions, hallucinations. Delusion is what is delusion? When person has a fixed, firm, false belief which cannot be defined or explained with the socio-cultural belief. That's specifically delusion. That means a person believes on such specific thought so firmly it cannot be shaken or taken care or cured with any amount of reasoning, any amount of understanding. That's the delusion. It can be delusion of persecution, reference, infidelity, and different ways of persecution. And what is hallucination? Hallucination is a false perceived perception. It can be form of visual, auditory, gustatory, tactile. This can be type of hallucination can be there. When person hears voice, this kind of commanding delusions, hallucinations, which tells the person to do specific things. In psychosis, there can be some cases, and which if they don't do those things, then there are real chances they will harm the family or child or and lot of things. In my own practice, I have seen few cases where yes, mother have tried to harm the baby in postpartum psychosis. In that cases, we really tell the family to keep away the child from the mother till the mother gets better and she's been treated, and thus they can harm and they can go to an extent. It doesn't mean that every patient having postpartum psychosis is dangerous or violent. Please don't convey this. This is
Right,
yes,
absolutely.
handful of patients may have severe form of psychosis. In those cases, yes, they can go to an extent to even killing also.
Absolutely, doctor. Like nothing can justify uh, a murder or a violent or a killing of whether it's your own children or somebody else. But do you think that in India or around the world, do you think that postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression are often missed or misdiagnosed?
Yes, it's very commonly misdiagnosed, not just postpartum. Overall scenario in India is really sad and gloomy. The stigma around psychiatric illnesses makes it difficult for the person suffering from that specific disorder or disease to take the help from a professional at timely and a proper manner. They at times hide, even if they come openly, then the family hushes out, it's nothing, change your mood, go to some hill station, you will get better. And coming to postpartum, things get really worse. Specifically in Indian context, there are a lot of studies which specifically tells if the mother, especially in rural areas, if the mother has given the birth to a female child is not very well welcomed, sadly, in such specific areas, then the chance of getting postpartum psychosis goes even higher. Then mother is in extreme stress and trauma to justify that thing, which probably is not her fault, but that's sadly a part. So yes, in the areas in India, there's a lot more we need to do in these areas. Very low knowledge, very low awareness in postpartum psychosis. When the mother is already under stress, the delivery itself is a stress for the body and the mind. There is a new child, you have to take care of your body. After delivery, a lot of changes goes inside the body, and you have got a new life in your hand, small baby, whom you also need to take care along with you. So it's a difficult time for any mother. So I very strongly tell all the through your medium, yes, it's a difficult time and family should take extra care of these females.
Absolutely, doctor. And before I let you go, what are the early warning signs that family members should look out for?
Yes, this is a very important question. Thank you for asking me this. There are red six flags which no one should miss. The in initial part of the delivery, within 1 or 2 days, if you feel mother is not behaving properly, in psychosis, probably patient may not able to tell I'm having psychosis, but the family members, person around the patient will probably pick up the signs earlier. So they need to very careful. So mother is not behaving properly, her sleep is decreased markedly, she's become irritable, restless, she's not taking care of the child properly, she's not feeding the baby, she's not taking care of herself, personal hygiene. There are mood swings, high irritability, anger outbursts, rage and fits, throwing stuff, and even talking to herself, muttering, murmuring, and speaking certain things which are not appropriate as per social culture beliefs or the family beliefs, which are not real, true to themselves. Any deviation from the normalcy, which probably will families see, are red signs and signals and flags should not be overlooked, and a timely treatment or a consultation with the psychiatrist should be done to save the life of not just mother or the baby also.
Thank you so much, doctor, for taking out the time and joining me on the broadcast with those meaningful insights.